Welcome to everyone to Vinyl Addict. This is Chili, and today I'm going to give you guys a video on a band that's been around for like 40 years, and I'm going to touch on their first album and their latest. They're still putting out material. This is Duran Duran, and the 81, their first debut, and Future Past. This is their 2021 album. They're on the road, and they're playing stuff from this album and of course a lot of their classics. Now before I get into this, don't forget to hit the like, share on this video, comment below, and if you still haven't, please subscribe to the channel. Now let's get into this. So first of all, this is the album that has the English track list. So this album was later released in the US in '83 after they broke through with the Rio album in '82. Now, after the success of Rio with songs like Hungry Like the Wolf, Rio, the title track, Save a Prayer, and all the MTV videos that propelled them to like international stars and breaking America, then they re-released this album in a different with a different track list. And so this is the original track list, and that's the one I'm using. I'm not using the American one, which consists of Is There Something I Should Know, is the song that they put on that album and was a big success. This one has To the Shore instead, and I tend to like this album the way it starts and the way it moves better than the American version, and so I'm just going to keep it where, kind of Duran Duran, keeping it 100 on their material, the way that they envisioned the album. And so with that being said, side one, we got Girls on Film, Planet Earth, Anyone Out There, To the Shore, which is a deep cut, that lazy deep cut, which is really cool, and Careless Memories, ending on side one. Now, Girls on Film, of course, is a great track. It's seen, it's popped up again nowadays on the Stranger Things soundtrack. It's being, brought back to life. As far as a new generation hearing it, Planet Earth is to me the quintessential Duran Duran. The Duran Duran, as far as just like everything kind of goes back to that song, as far as like that is the blueprint of a great Duran Duran song. It has the intro with the mysterious kind of synth sounds that Nick Rhodes is bringing in, and that throbbing bass line that John Taylor delivers. And these guys were heavily influenced by Bowie, of course, and T-Rex, which is Andy Taylor, what the guitarist was really into as well, Roxy Music and Chic. And so you got these dance disco rhythms with the avant-garde of David Bowie and the ever-changing David Bowie. So Duran Duran has changed throughout their career, but they always still seem to keep this central core of who they are in all their albums. I think probably the one album that, unless it's like a cover band album, they had like a song of covers, which I didn't really care for, but mainly their material is, is very still kept to the core of kind of dance, disco, kind of new wave music with a little, thrown in there with an element of rock. So that being said, this is a strong side. I didn't really care for. I love Careless Memories. I just didn't feel like it was a good closure for that side. Now, side one of Future Past starts with Invisible, which is a great kind of song, which is sort of has some funk elements to it, kind of reminiscent with Notorious, but without the horns. But it's a modern take on that. All of You is that song sounds like one of the songs on side two of the first album, Friends of Mine. Has that kind of moderate kind of dance rhythm to it, and songs like Give It All Up and Anniversary and Future Past. That song is a great album or side closer than I'd say the Careless Memories. Careless Memories was great, you know, as far as like it had brought in that electric guitar, that rock element to it, the new wave heavy synth that was going on at the time. But as far as you know, listening to the album and everything, I think Future Past really sounds good as the closure of that side. Now, side two on this album, Night Boat, Sound of Thunder, Friends of Mine, and the instrumental Tel Aviv. Night Boat is a great song. It's very gothy. It's very. This is the thing about some of the early Duran Duran, is that they would kind of go into left field with some strange songs, such as, of course, Night Boat, and kind of touching on the gothic rock, new wave sounds of like weird Peter Gabriel, weird Bowie kind of element to it, and like the Chauffeur. You know, they always had these kind of songs on the album that were kind of disturbing, you know, which was cool. And Night Boat is one of them. And Friends of Mine, that is that song, which is kind of reminiscent to, they're still doing it on this one. But the one thing about this song, it has Andy Taylor's guitar is very reminiscent to Bowie's or Robert Fripp doing the guitar on Fashion. And you know, the live version really kind of, you could really hear it more. And you know, they were never a band to stray away from what they like and what made them. And they all put it on their first album, you know. Tel Aviv, it's a good song. It's it was meant to be that there are lyrics to it, but it was never recorded, or the story behind that is there's so many different stories, but it was based on Simon Le Bon's trip to Israel, and you know, he wrote some lyrics, some poems about it, and but it never saw the light of day. There's just, you could hear him in the mix, kind of like in the background, kind of like, you know, at his he's saying words that are probably like what was said, that could have been Yiddish or some other kind of Middle Eastern kind of language, but it's just very faint. You hear it, but it's mainly an instrumental track. Sounds like something that would be in a film, and it's kind of it's very avant-garde. It just, even though where it's placed at in the album as an album closure, it makes more sense because it kind of departs from everything else. But you know, throughout this album, they're going through all these kind of different kind of styles anyway. I mean, even with Night Boat, you know, being that kind of dark kind of song, the heavy, you know, guitar laden, Careless Memories, you know. So it's a great song for this album, but I felt like the album closure on this one, Falling, was way better. But let's start off with the beginning of the side. It has Beautiful Lies and Tonight United. It has Giorgio Moroder as producing those songs. Now, there's different guitar players on here. There's Mark Ronson, and you know, he plays some tracks on here. The guitars from Blur play some songs on here because they're going as a four-piece, so they have people coming in and just, you know, contributing. Now, Beautiful Lies, that starts off this side, it does sound reminiscent of those Giorgio Moroder songs in the late 70s and, you know, early 80s. Like you hear them in the Scarface soundtrack, you heard them in Midnight Express, that haunting theme song with the soundtrack. And of course, he produced the Kiss disco song, I Was Made for Loving You. So he has a particular sound, and he's playing keyboards on these, and it's reminiscent of that, but it's with Duran Duran, still, you know, keeping ownership of the ship, or still running the ship, you know what I mean? They're great. I think it's something I think they're doing it as fans, you know. And but I said the last song, Falling, it features Mike Garson, and he's that famous jazz pianist, and he's played with Bowie for years. He's the one who's playing on the avant-garde lead on Aladdin Sane, you know. And so that part is so weird, and they kind of bring that kind of back on that last song here, and it's just a great album closer because it has like all these kind of sounds, and it's just like having him on there, and you know they even put him on there. Usually, you know, you look at featuring somebody, it's usually someone singing, a singer of some sort or something like that. But yeah, it just says featuring Mike Garson. It's just like, okay, you know, that's the guy responsible. Life on Mars. That's him playing Life on Mars on that Bowie song as well. So, you know, what a way to end this album. And so I don't think that Duran Duran has lost its edge. They're still a force to be reckoned with. They still make some great shit, you know, and they care. Just by listening to this album, they fucking care, you know. It doesn't take away from this. This is a great foundation of where the band, who the band was, and what they still kind of have throughout their career. And they're on the road right now, so if, you know, and they sound really good. Check them out. So Duran Duran, Future Past, and it's a cool title for this album, because yes, it's like they still have the elements of Duran Duran, but they still, you know, are doing it in a 21st century manner. And the great beginning. Every saga has a beginning, and here it is. So that's my video on that. Like I said, don't forget to hit the like button and comment below. What do you think? Do you think Duran Duran is still a force to be reckoned with? Are they still making great music? Or have they jumped the shark and, you know, ran out of ideas? Let me know. I'd like to really hear your opinions and comments below. And if you still haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so. I'll see you guys later. Bye.